Welcome to Assist Amplified, the podcast from the Assist Network, hosted by co-founder Anne Stonehouse and Goodwill Ambassador Sharon Sinclair-Williams. Our mission is to amplify the voices of women across the Tees Valley while educating, inspiring and entertaining you along the way. Each episode brings you real conversations with the incredible people who make up our network. So, let's dive in. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Assist Women's Network podcast, Assist Amplified. I'm your co-host, Sharon Sinclair-Williams. I'm the director of the Digital Gene and founder of Love Yourself First EFT. I'm also the Goodwill Ambassador for this year, 2025, right through until International Women's Day 2026.
And I'm Anne Stonehouse, co-host and chair and co-founder of Assist Women's Network. And I am a business owner of 25 years plus, and I'm an accountant.
We are thrilled to welcome to the Assist Amplified podcast chair today, Dianne Casey, who is a poet and community creator right from here in the Tees Valley. Her work threads class, care, grief and girlhood into fierce lyrical lines. Her writing has appeared in the Gentian, Thriving Teesside and Plan UK's State of Girls' Rights Report. She co-hosts an award-winning podcast herself, Growing Up a Girl. Dianne, all sounds really fascinating. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Oh, thank you so much for the opportunity, and it's so great to be sitting with two living legends.
Oh.
I'm Dianne. I'm neurodiverse. I'm disabled. I worked in community development for 25 years, and then got chronic illness and grief happened. And through art and through organisations like Assist, it rebuilt me back together. And I found a love of poetry and how it's not snobby. Anybody can write, and it can really, really make a difference to everyone's life. So, yeah, that's a bit about me.
So, Dianne, you've been part of Assist for quite a few years now. Pre-pandemic, you were part of the committee, and we had to do sort of quite a sharp bend then. Cancel all the events, learn Zoom, get us online. That was the time. And then sharp bend us back to get us back in person. Tell us a little bit about that.
First off, though, doesn't that seem like it was another lifetime ago?
It really,
Yeah.
It's sort of like life after COVID, said the word, said the C word, and life before COVID. And
it's a blur.
It really does.
And I just think, if you imagined COVID to happen, you wouldn't imagine that the biggest thing would be turning up in your dressing gown on a Zoom meeting and saying, you're on mute. That was
that's
just
a great
everyone,
analogy
you're
of
on
it.
mute, that's all, and everyone was trying to up each other with bread making and
banana bread. I remember.
Banana bread was
I
a thing,
remember that one was one.
And I think it was really important that the community organisations, because everyone's volunteers on Assist, kept the thread going and kept engaging, because I think if we hadn't we sort of all faced the adversity together, and we found really creative. Women are great at that, finding really creative. And if somebody, it wasn't even just about the networking, it was about, I haven't got out in pajamas today, and everyone going, me too. So we had to learn pretty quickly how to do things online. But do you know what? As a chronically ill, neurodiverse person, it meant I could go to more things because I didn't have the barrier of actually getting there, and it didn't matter what I was wearing. It didn't matter if I didn't have my camera on. And some of that inclusivity has come into practice after COVID. So I'm not recommending it as a solution, but I think it became very inclusive as a practice. So.
And it was a lifeline, wasn't it? I mean, how many people come on, and after and upon reflection, what we did back then, it was a lifeline for so many.
And I can really relate to what you've said there about the neurodiversity angle. I'm neurodiverse myself, and sometimes networking, when you've got some obstacles and challenges, it's changed everything, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
And then afterwards, it's sort of thought, because you'd made those sort of relationships with people, you felt like you could go and meet them, didn't you?
Yeah, I think so. So credit to Assist and Anne and the fact that we were just
well, as a team.
As a team we were scrambling, but Yeah, it was amazing. And obviously it was built on, Assist been around for years and years. So it was built on a structure that was already established and networks that were already established. But for me, it made it more inclusive and made me get to know people a bit more.
Yeah. And we sort of come out of there, and you've stayed very much part of the network, and we do obviously work quite intimately, the pair of us, don't we, on the creative side of events and things like that.
And that's
So
what
Dianne's creative
I mean, that's
essential.
that's
what
what
we do.
I mean, we love a creative mind. We need more of them in the world.
Yeah,
That's so
absolutely.
great. And so obviously I'm here to talk about the Sisterwood and how that was created. And it was created, and should we talk about how it was created?
Yeah.
And also because you're involved not only creatively with that, the International Women's Day event as well, aren't you?
See, this is my neurodiverse mind just grasshopping everywhere. So
I can relate to that as well. You're okay.
International Women's Day has always been a really important day for myself and a lot of women, and it faced quite a negative thing, like, what about Men's Day? Do we still need International Women's Day? And my answer to that is yes, there is an International Men's
celebration,
Day.
isn't it? It's a celebration.
And for Assist, it's almost like a new term starts, the International Women's Day. It's sort of like we're coming out of winter, and we have a massive get together where we hear from amazing women. We go on the topic of the year that's been set. We hand over our Goodwill Ambassador, and we've got...
I was just going to say, that's when I'll pass on the baton, isn't it? Yeah.
How quick does a year go, though?
Anne said this to me right at the beginning. She goes, Sharon, you won't believe how quickly that year will pass. And I'm like, well, I am aware the years are passing quickly, but it's been, phenomenal.
It flies by, doesn't it? Because we sort of set our goals, and then in a blink we're like 6 months in, and we're okay, what do we need to do? What have we done?
And it's lovely as well, because you're thinking all the time, you're going to pass this baton on to somebody else, and I can't wait to I'm not wishing our lives away, but I can't wait to actually do that as well.
What's been so lovely with that was it was an idea that was formed, and we didn't imagine the strength of the women that we'd get applying. So
absolutely.
Please apply if you see it. The quality of women that we get, and we thought maybe we'd have to struggle to get somebody. It's unpaid. Will women have the time to do it? But what we found was there's a load of people apply, and there's a panel
willing and able,
that there's a panel that decides. I'm not included in that panel, but there's a panel that decides, and each year every woman has brought something else to the table, and we find that they stay with us. We thought people would be in for a year and then out, because we get people are busy and it's volunteer, and and just making that year would make a huge impact. There's no way that they have to stay, but each woman has brought...
It makes us dynamic.
Yeah. So
it's interesting, isn't it, that you've called it the legacy project that every Goodwill Ambassador now gets involved in, this podcast being mine. But it continues to be a legacy, as you said, people staying involved.
It honestly is amazing. So I would recommend, we always do International Women's Day a bit before the official date, the beginning of March. Have a look online for the event. We sell out really fast, and that's not just me trying to pressure sell.
We do.
It's a free event, but the
absolutely
tickets do
true.
go out because it's amazing. It's only like a power hour to an hour and a half with the networking. So please, if you see the application for Goodwill Ambassador, just look at the testimonies of women that have been ambassadors already, and we've got one sitting here. Please apply. Don't think you haven't got the skills or the name. It's open to any woman in Tees Valley or works in Tees Valley.
And other people can nominate.
I was just going to say,
we were nominated.
I was nominated, which was like...
However, we do like self-nominations.
I mean,
without bragging a bit.
We are. People don't like the word bragging. We'll come on to that later, but we do think more women should self-nominate.
Yeah, that's it. That would be amazing, because then they know what they're taking on as a commitment as well. So if you see that, please apply, and also please get your free tickets for the 2026.
International Women's Day. You know what I find I do with all the Assist events now? I get them in my diary like a year in advance, because then that you're going to be able to be there, and the tickets do sell out for some of the bigger events, don't they?
Definitely.
It's our big inspiring celebration event, annual, and we use the same format, Dianne, don't we? We've used it for about 6 years now. Even when we took it online, it was
Still
exactly the same format.
With little tweaks. We work on things, so it's never
we develop
the same.
each year. We develop each year. It's very serious with the debate that International Women's Day, the theme that they give us. However, we do poetry, song. We've got a couple of surprises
we
coming
try to
up,
make
which
it
we won't share.
immersive, so people aren't just being spoken at.
Yeah, so it's entertaining as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a really the core of all that is always the women's stories. It's very storytelling, isn't it? And
It's a wonderful
piece of
event
work that we
wonderful
showcase.
event.
Yeah.
So, Sisterwood, let's get onto the Sisterwood. So the concept of that. So you and I, many years ago, back in 2018-19, we were delving through the archives prior to that, and then we decided to have a cup of coffee in the Ivy Close bar in Stockton. That was with a purpose, because we always do and meet together, don't we, with a little bit of a feminist angle, don't we? So we decided that we were having this cup of coffee with a point to say, right, how can we recognise women? We were quite frustrated that the 8th Plinth project the campaign, Emma Chesworth's campaign, she did a lot of work on that at the time, but and she got quite a bit of trolling about it as well, didn't she? And yeah. And that campaign was for we don't have a statue of a woman in Middlesbrough. So the 8th Plinth, the idea of the 8th Plinth was the eighth statue in Middlesbrough would be the 8th Plinth. But guess what? We've got an 8th Plinth, and it's not a woman. So we got our heads together in frustration.
Who was it, incidentally? Do you know?
MFC. It's outside a football club.
Okay. So we're still campaigning for that one, aren't we?
Campaigning.
Yeah.
So we got our heads together and said, right, what are we going to do about this? Obviously, statue is quite a lot of money. Where can we go with that? So bouncing ideas backwards and forwards, we said, why don't we plant a tree for a woman each year? Yes, somebody that's nominated and found within the Tees Valley. So that was our first thought, and then it developed from there. Do you want to add to that story?
So for those that don't know, Ivy Close was a film star from Stockton who was very famous in Broadway, made it to Broadway, and her grandson actually was involved in Downton Abbey, so hence the name of Ivy Close. And Anne and I had started to look around the archives for hidden women, because there was the women that are known of in the area, like the Mormolams, but
Ruth Penniman's another, isn't she? Yeah.
But we kind of thought, let's see what we can find in the archives. So we went and we looked, and we really struggled to find any women. And if there was any women, it was women with money. It was women that had been married to somebody with money. And we were like, no, this can't be right. There cannot be a trail of amazing women that why can't we find them in the archives? So with brilliant Laura from the archives, we started a campaign to try to find those amazing women, and we sat and we were like, well, how can we do that? Anne had an idea about street names. Let's try to get names
That's
with
still on the
streets.
plan.
And let's try to get.
Is
them
this
names
on the
of
shelf?
streets.
That's on my shelf.
On the
that
shelf.
shelf up there.
Anybody who's listened before will know what we're talking about.
And obviously we love nature and we love environment, and we were like, why does it have to be a statue? Why can't it be a tree? And then we ummed and ahed about whether, well, trees are laid in memorial, and we wanted these to be living, breathing trees. And then we came up with the idea of an actual sisterwood, of actually a place where families could go, and we would plant the previous women that didn't have recognition. We would plant the present women and the future women, so they would be somewhere. So that started the mission for us. And then Anne managed to get Stuart's Park in Middlesbrough.
We went with the idea of an avenue of trees, but then we were offered by Middlesbrough Council a piece of land and said, would you like a woodland instead? And that's when you went, we can
call it Sisterwood. It's like,
Oh, it's such a wonderful name, isn't it? Isn't it fascinating how those things sort of come together?
Yeah, it's like a magical, like as if it wasn't real. Sisterwood. So that was
Brilliant.
amazing. And I know sometimes Tees Valley gets into trouble for being Middlesbrough centric, but it was where the 8th plinth was, and it was where we got the land of. And we were aware that in the whole of Tees Valley, there's not very many statues for women. If there is, they're quite often in museums or in hospitals. They're not actually outside. Although the Greyhound dogs, I've forgotten her name, but that was a female sculpture that made the Greyhound dogs in Stockton, which is amazing. Yeah, so that's how the Sisterwood was formed. And
we're about to end you having a tree planted.
Yeah, I mean, it touches my heart like so much, and my family like still can't get their head around the fact that, you know, I'm gonna have this tree there that's growing forever. I always laugh and say it's a good job I'm not having to tend it myself because I don't have green fingers. But, you know, just the fact that it's there is just such a wonderful, lovely thing. And everybody that I speak to about it has said to me, it's so lovely. And we really need to shout about this more, because what it's evolved from, you know, talking about the 8th plinth, not enough statues, hardly anything, you know, in the archives, and how it's evolving. Like, I've gone goose pimping, just goosey, just talking about it
And
again.
it's growing really nicely as well. I visit, don't live far, so I visit it regularly. And the trees are like looking good. So you have to watch it
Just gorgeous.
each year. So my phone is full of photographs of them,
How they're growing and
them sort of
blooming
growing
and blossoming.
and
Yeah.
us adding to it as well on more trees.
yeah.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. This episode is sponsored by Emma Dearlove of Auxilium Finance, a female-founded accountancy firm that does more than just crunch numbers. From everyday bookkeeping to big picture strategy, Auxilium helps you make money, not just count it. Whether it's tax, growth planning, or finally having an accountant who doesn't disappear until January, Auxilium is your partner in building a stronger business. So, as the Sisterwood has developed, Dianne, and me thinking about, you know, the Goodwill Ambassador roles and the legacy projects and this collaboration now with Teesside Archives, there was something around additional trees and the partnership. We touched a little bit about some of the remarkable local women, but and I think you wanted to bring and talk about Ruby, didn't you? Part of the network. How have you been able to sort of like identify some of those women in history that have been given a place in the Sisterwood?
Yeah, like I said previously, it was the hidden women. It was trying to find oral storytelling from people that would say, well, there was such and such that rang the school, that gave out this, that gave out this. We didn't want it just to be the rich and the famous. We sort of like wanted, and what we really struggled with was black voices, even though there's a black community in our area. We have actually found a black bus driver, the first female bus driver.
Right. Okay.
Bus conductor.
Bus conductor, that's
Bus
it.
conductor.
And we struggled to find LGBTQ plus women. And we also struggled, well, we even struggled to just find the everyday. So it really was.
Why do you think they are so buried, or that those stories don't exist? They just don't exist.
They're just not wrote about. They were never wrote about.
I think one thing is that it was money that spoke, and even the famous women weren't in the archives or didn't have as much as men in. Statistically, 0.5% of recorded history is about women. 0.5%.
I know, I've heard that. Heard that stat
So
before.
you've just got to,
No
that
wonder then,
tells
is it?
you they're not going to talk about the local heroes, and they're not even bringing into recognition the women that have done amazing things.
Yeah.
And that's where the Sisterwood links in, and the partnership with the archives is that we want to leave digital her stories so that people can find them in the archives and can find, which we struggle to find. So I suppose it's probably because men wrote the history books. Historically, women didn't get the vote till then. Like, I think it's changing. I do think that it's changing. I think we've still got some way to go. And obviously campaigns like this.
I was just going to say, and we making an impact. 'Cause you were about to go into the archives, aren't you?
I mean, that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I joke and say, in 100 years' time, when there's a programme like Who Do You Think You Are?
Yeah.
And they're trying to find out about me. They'll be able to see me, find me in the I'm not going to be hidden.
Yeah.
I mean, and like, I'm a nobody, do you know what I mean?
You're
But
not.
no, but I'm saying that in the broader sense,
Yeah, I get
the fact that you're saying, it's every woman's story, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, we all deserve a place in history,
Yeah,
don't
we
we?
do.
That's it. And I mean, what was great about the suffragette movement is that they were criminalised.
Yeah.
So there is
history of
there's
them.
only a history because there was criminalised.
But negative, it's negative
We
connotations
found
around
Lizzie
it.
Crowe, who had planned to bomb Red's car races. It didn't happen. But she got so we found the records of that going to court, and there was also the other famous Middlesbrough suffragette.
There's Alice Schofield Courts,
Yes.
isn't there? There's the two sisters and Miriam.
Yeah.
The two sisters,
So
but
much we don't
but they
know,
were in.
isn't
They were brought from families with money. So
And
yeah.
what we've loved is a bit like Assist, we sort of like could connect dots with in periods of time, like the suffragettes movement. There was like Maud Chadman, who was connected to Naomi Jacobs, who'd met up with her, and there was the doctors that were taking over, and it was almost like it was a network without
Yeah.
it being called Assist Network. So
Yeah, yeah.
politically, all of these hidden women, if you read their books, so you have to do some digging.
They are all connected.
They're all connected some way along the line. So I think networking's not new, particularly in politics when you're wanting to make a change. So that's been quite fascinating as well.
And then we've got the likes of Mary Jakes, haven't we? So some of the trees, and then the trees represent more modern history.
Yeah.
In more Morland, Ruth Penniman.
Yeah.
So they're really nice because when we're talking about them and we're running events on them, there's actually women that come to the events and knew these women.
Yeah.
So they've actually got life stories of knowing more Morland or knowing Ruth Penniman.
And then we can gather
Which
there.
there's a little bit more information
Yeah,
to take.
yeah.
Oh, this is absolutely
Yeah.
one of my most
Yeah.
favourite projects, not just because of my tree, it's nothing about that. It's just that being Goodwill Ambassador this year and finding out more about, what the network is actually doing. And that's why this podcast is so important, to get this information out there, isn't
Yeah.
it?
And the storytelling behind it. Yes, the storytelling. Why? The why. Why did we do?
Yes, yeah. And I think it's important that we are going to do a big song and dance launch of the Sisterwood. We have trees already growing that you can go and visit. But obviously it's funding. We need to get funding for signage and
We've got
benches
ideas of sculptures.
So that's all in the process of us trying to get, we're getting a plan together for the funding. But the trees are there. We have started to plant them. So if you're wondering why we haven't done a big song and dance about it, is we want everything in place for the big celebration. And like we see it as a place for International Women's Day or women vigils or women's celebrations. We really want it to be for all the family as well, not just a female space, but a space which gives people.
So we want to shout about it more now because we want to bring people to that who can help us drive that change.
Yeah, that's it.
Can help us with the funding, can help us get the story out.
And the story.
That's
and
what we need.
Yeah, so should we bring Ruby in? So then we've got Ruby Merritt, our conscious crone. So Ruby come to one of the tree and bulb planting many years ago, and she's very spiritual and very linked to nature and the trees, and she just oozes that when she's in the Sisterwood, doesn't she? And we started them conversations about what trees represent and the types of species. So Ruby's joined the Sisterwood team, and she's looked at like what type of like there's a birch tree there. What does a birch tree represent? And she's matched, hasn't she, with our sort of list of women. Which again just goes to show how holistic and how we are trying
we include everything. It's not just by random a tree is picked. There's so much thought and time because we believe women deserve that thought and time. We're not an afterthought. It's like people might argue in Middlesbrough, there's a woman outside of the courts, the scales of justice woman. But that's the trouble. We're always faceless in the fact that we're either a mother or mythical. It's never about the person. And given the person, the ambassador like yourself, to pick your own tree, there's reasonings behind that, and it gives a bit of living life to your
The why?
the why.
to your
So
story and everything.
yeah,
How did you choose your tree?
I think I'm going to keep that for another day, Anne. Yeah, I
that's
mean,
interesting.
Should we do a blog?
I think we should maybe have a chat about that another day
Yeah.
because I've got quite a bit to share about the reason why I've chosen my tree, and I know some of the women that we've interviewed so far, they've all had a reason, haven't they?
Yeah, they
Why
have.
they've had
Yeah.
their tree, and that's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
It weaves in as everything to do with part of their story, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So it's really exciting, and it's really, and I understand that people, when you people love it, the idea and want to get engaged, and we're open to that, aren't we?
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So the Sisterwood series of events collaborates now massively with the events through Teesside Archives. And they really delve into more history of more remarkable women
Interesting.
across Teesside, don't they? Tell us a little bit more about Teesside Archives and how that works.
Yeah, so they've been absolutely amazing, actually. All of the staff there, but we particularly had a partnership with Laura.
So Lara Moon, yeah, she's actually joined the committee as well, hasn't she? She's joined the steering group.
And what's come out of that, so keep an eye out. There is one-off events like there's the Mormorlam event, there's been a suffragette event, because we want to put meat on the bones. We want to we want to get it out there and said. So keep your eyes open for her story type events in partnership.
I mean, there's so much you've already both described there. There's like such a long-term vision, isn't there, for the Sisterwood series of events? It's amazing. I can't wait to see how it all unfurls. And I'm really going to champion this because I think it's something that we should all be really shouting about and amplifying. But I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the steering group as well, didn't you? How people
So we've got a steering group, but we're always looking for new people to bring their ideas to that table. You've mentioned that we need funding. We want a sculpture designing. So there's plenty of opportunity to get involved in their Sisterwood planning.
What's great about Assist is it doesn't waste your time. So if you've got an interest, you get put into that interest as and when it's needed. It's not that you have to sit through loads of meetings that are not relevant
Don't
to
like
you.
meetings.
It's
That's
like a
good to
new way.
hear.
It's like a new way of working, really. So if you think you've got a particular skill that would definitely help the steering committee, then please get in touch. And even if it's not a skill that we can use at the moment, but something later, get your name on the list and we'll get in touch.
Yeah, and the Sisterwood brings a complete different dynamic because there's horticulture there, isn't there? So we're talking about nature and trees. We're talking about history as well. We want creatives to make that space somewhere a destination. We want it to be a destination that people want to visit. So there's so many elements of that, our long-term vision for that, including wanting to bring in primary schools and education. So there's that element of it.
I mean, wouldn't it be lovely for somewhere for primary school kids to visit and learn out more about women and local history, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
And you guys.
Yeah. And workshops and her stories that could be used.
It can go on and on, can't it? It's a true legacy, really.
Yeah.
And how can people, if they don't want to be in the steering group, how generally can people just get involved in the Sisterwood?
I mean, I generally would say look on Assist Women's Network online, on Eventbrite, on their own page. Everything's on there. I know it's really computer based now, but I think most people have access to computers. So have a look on there, and there's a section on Sisterwood.
Yeah, and basically you said come along to an event,
Oh,
and
yeah.
just have a chat with one
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? That's what
Come
it
along
is,
to an
really.
event, networking. It doesn't have to be the computer. That's boring. Get yourself to an event and chat.
We have a couple of key system budget events, I suppose, that's related. We've got the International Women's Day, which is very much around the Goodwill Ambassadors, and then we annually do a tree and bulb planting first Thursday in October. And so we actually, which we haven't mentioned, each year we plant bulbs, and the bulbs are purple and white. And then the idea
I do know this.
suffragette
I
colours.
do know this.
The idea,
I'm keeping stum about it at the minute.
the idea is the suffragette colours, the assist colours, which are purple, white, and green.
Yeah.
So in the spring we've got spring bulbs and
Gorgeous.
the purple, white, and the green trees, and it represents.
And I think you're going to tell us now. Diane's got a surprise for us, hasn't she?
Yes, so Dianne, piece of poetry you brought
Yeah.
today, particularly for today, to sum up the Sisterwood.
I just, right. Here we go. Sorry, it's on paper. So I just literally written it. My glasses are dirty as well. Give them quickly. So no statue for us. Stats give numbers, poems give truth. Reports show gaps, art shows proof. That's why I picked this piece, because sometimes poetry can cut sharper than any chart or percentage. This one's called Statue for Us. No statue for us. Not most, not yet. The ledger shows a recognition debt. We wrote the plans, they signed the deals. We carried the risks, they kept the seals. So we plant receipts the future can read. Mentors, seeds, seats and seeds. Proof isn't stone, legacy grows. The future sees what history knows. Our statues grow as Sisterwood. Together in strength, we shift what stood. Some lights now turn, allies spark. A few are named, too many dark. Glory to those whose names now rise. Awards are etched, legacy survives. Too little carved, too few to claim. We built the work, now take the name. Stone fixers gone, trees multiply many. The Sisterwood grows root deep and steady. That's the reminder. Numbers may count, but voices, stories, they make the change last. Thank you.
Oh, you know what? I'm picturing you there, Diane, stood on a soapbox. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I
Just
like
like those suffragettes back then.
And actually, we're putting.
Oh.
We want to put a
We want a
soapbox
soapbox in the
in.
Oh
We
my goodness!
We are
that
putting
rallying
a
cry.
sculpture of a soapbox
Yeah.
in
Oh,
Sisterwood.
that's
I don't know
just
how we're going to follow that. That's
No,
amazing. Thank
that
you.
is
Johnny, it sums it up.
so. Yeah,
That absolutely sums it. The
wonderful
performance
words,
is
Diane.
brilliant.
Oh,
Wonderful words, isn't it?
I am Diane's.
I'm very impressed.
Oh, thank you.
You're very
I just think sometimes poetry can reach people in a place where a report doesn't. And
Absolutely.
So that's
And
why
it's the way
poetry.
you deliver it.
Oh, thank you.
Very much. And the words have so much strength as well, don't there? I think.
I almost wanted to call. As you were coming to the end,
We
I was like,
need to get our what they call it?
banners, flags,
out.
everything. Yeah. Thank you. That was wonderful.
okay.
Thank you.
So
Over to
finished,
you.
haven't we?
Yeah, over
Yeah,
to
we've
you.
nearly
The question
finished.
you always ask.
So, Dianne, we are a Sisters to Networking organisation at the start predominantly. However, yes, we've become sort of a little bit. Well, what were we taught? We're the archetype, brand archetype activist.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that sums it up. So networking, what is your networking top tip?
Right, my networking top tip is Hamilton quote, you gotta be in the room where it happens, the room where it happens. That's the whole thing. If you're not in the room when it happens, you don't know where it's going to take you. Like, I have been to an assistant network meeting, and 1 minute I'm in Middlesbrough, and the next minute I'm opening something at Newcastle Film Academy because I've met somebody at the networking event. And sometimes it's just gentle ripples. Find a kind face. There's plenty of kind faces. It's so inclusive. Don't be scared coming by yourself either. I find a lot of women sometimes struggle with that. you're looked after. So I just say be in the room where it happens.
And
like you
that's
said
been the
there.
theme, hasn't it? The friendliness of the network, as everybody's talked about
Yeah.
that. Not only are you a poet, you're also a singer as well, by the looks of it. I mean,
don't know about
what
that,
more can we say? So we've touched on this a few times in this episode, in this chat. We often find that as women, we don't like talking about ourselves, and dare I say it, we use the word bragging, don't we? We don't like bragging about ourselves.
Mhm.
Can you tell us, do you like bragging about your achievements, Dianne?
Yeah, bragging's a bit, it's got a bit of strange connotations to it, like bullying, bragging, I don't know. But I think it's been a long journey. And I think the older I get, the more I'm comfortable in my own skin. I think that I remember being at an event and I'd done some poetry, and a guy came over and said, I'd like to read some more of your work. And I literally said, no, you don't want to do that.
Oh, did you?
I literally said that to him. And a friend pulled me up and was like, what was that? He could have been Simon Cowell's agent. He could have been anybody. And you have literally said, and that was my wake up call, where I suddenly thought, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, actually, yeah, I am writing stuff that deserves to be read. I have got something to say. With experience, I have got that. So I'm a big advocate now of, I pull people up if they pull themselves down. Through Assist, I've learned to shout about other people's successes. So I will say, oh, this is such and such. She's done this, she's done that. And I think it's so important that, so now I think I'm at a place where I don't see it as bragging, I see it as ownership. I've forgotten the excuses and I take ownership of my power.
Wow. I mean, it's like you were saying earlier about the self-nomination for, the Goodwill Ambassador. It all feeds into that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Ownership, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Dianne, it's been wonderful to chat with you today. Anna, I've really enjoyed,
We have.
another episode, haven't we, in the
We
bag? Like learning so much about you, about the Sisterwood, about the history of local women. We've touched on that. It's been brilliant. So thank you for being seated in the Assist Amplified podcast chair.
Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity. You're doing amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Today's episode was proudly sponsored by Auxilium Finance. They'll give you clarity, strategy, and hands-on support. From everyday bookkeeping to big picture financial strategy, they'll be your best business partner. Visit Auxilium Finance for more information. Thank you so much for listening to Assist Amplified, the legacy project of our Goodwill Ambassador, Sharon Sinclair-Williams. If you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, share, and join in the discussion, because when we amplify one voice, we amplify them all, and change really happens.